Nobody wanted to see a sad and grim version of a character that was iconic for his charm and his wit, but that's not even the worst part of Indiana Jones 5. Waller-Bridges' character is a terrible person and, spoilers, never changes. This character never makes it out of the first half of what could have been a decent arc. Had the movie not devolved into an anticlimactic mess that jumps the shark and runs away from it at the exact same time. The more I think about this movie, the less I like it, and I do still like it, but it is disappointing when I think about what it could have been. Here are the top 3 reasons why Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is a disappointing good movie. And stick around to the end because I'm actually going to rewrite this movie and make it 10 times better. Let's start with what everyone loves to hate. A strong female character. She is the kind of girl to get engaged and sell the ring for profit and laugh it off to her fiance's face. Yeah, terrible person. And there's nothing wrong with this if she grows as a character and changes and becomes better, you know, like an actual good arc. But that doesn't happen in this movie. They try to imply it, but it doesn't come across that way because of the second problem with this movie, which is, spoilers, the third act is an absolute mess. They go to a cave, they find the second half of the dial, which is pretty easy, then the Nazis take it, capture Indy, take him on a plane, and then the kid chases them in on another plane, so 2 planes fly through this fissure in time, and all the characters go back 2,000 years in time, which is a pretty cool idea if it wasn't shoehorned in at the end of a movie for 10 minutes. Indy and the girl jump off the plane and the Nazis crash and die in an anticlimactic way. Like, I would like to see Indy, you know, take out the bad guy, but no, he just crashes and dies and it's like, whatever. It's this movie is pretty anticlimactic, I'm not gonna lie. And you know, Indiana Jones, he's old and depressed and he wants to stay and explore the world in that time period, but the girl is like, no. She punches him out and they fly back just in time and Indy wakes up in his home and Miriam comes back to him. Yay, it's kind of a happy ending, but the problem is that it's all over the place. You know, typically Indiana Jones' third acts are really well contained and take place in a particular place, but this one just hops from place to place, and then that makes it very difficult for the personal arcs to be wrapped up in a nice and neat way. So they're not. The ending goes bonkers, but it doesn't take time to explore. They go back in time for about 10 minutes, Nazis crash into the ground, so there's no fight or trickery or back and forth, which is what Indiana Jones movies are known for, and at the end, Indiana Jones is so sad and depressed that he doesn't even want to go home. And that's the third issue with this movie. Indy isn't having fun in this movie. He's grumpy and going along begrudgingly, which is what makes you miss the charm of the old movies. Now, some people say that Phoebe Waller-Bridges' character took away from Indiana Jones' agency. I didn't think so. He solves a lot of problems, and the movie does make it absolutely clear that she needs him in order to find the dial before the Nazis do. So Indy is needed, and he does solve a lot of problems on his own. So does Phoebe Waller-Bridges' character, whose name I can't remember for the life of me. But the big issue is that they made his life so sad. Like, his son from the fourth one died in the war and Miriam left him. So in the end, he's just an alone, grumpy old man. That's not what I wanted to see Indiana Jones as. So in the end, when they go back in time, he doesn't even want to go back home, which is really sad. It's not necessarily bad writing to take a character, put them through tough times, but when the character is iconic for being able to have fun while he's in danger, it kind of just takes away from him when you have a sequel where he's just all grumpy and not enjoying himself at all. Considering the character's legacy, that's part of what made him so charming and likable. And this movie doesn't seem to understand that and doesn't seem interested in carrying that on at all. It does have a lot of good action. To have a sad and depressed Indiana Jones just doesn't feel that great. You know, they do, and to be fair, they do give him a nice ending with him reuniting with Miriam, but my thing is that why set it up like that to begin with? Because essentially, that's the same ending as the fourth one, only his son is dead. So the conclusion is basically exactly the same as Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull, minus his son. And I would have hoped that Indiana Jones would have had a better ending to his life than that. And now, to be fair, I did have a fun time in the movie theater with this movie. I walked out of the theater smiling. This is tactically a good movie. Not perfect, but good, and I think you'll have fun if you turn your brain off and just sit down and enjoy all of the action and adventure. You know, I think the Rotten Tomatoes scores are accurate. If you're going to be critical of this film and think about the plot and everything that Indiana Jones means to you, then yeah, I think it's going to be sitting around a score of 67%. There's a good chance that you won't like it. However, if you just turn your brain off and go in and have fun and to see this movie for what it is, you're more likely to have fun. And at the end of the day, that is a bit of a shame because this movie kind of relies on you in order for you to enjoy this. In order for you to enjoy this movie as much as possible, you kind of have to not think about the original trilogy, because doing that will kind of make you like this movie less. And that's a shame. Disney has enough people, talented people working for them, that they should have been able to make a movie that could stand toe to toe, but they didn't. And again, the adventure aspect is really solid with great action scenes, especially in the first half. But in all, I'll never watch it again. It's the fourth best Indiana Jones film. But, you know, if you're like throwing an Indiana Jones party, just watch the first three and skip 4 and 5. You don't need either of them. So, if you're on a budget, save your money and go see Mission Impossible 7 when it comes out in a few weeks. And just catch Indiana Jones 5 on Disney+. And honestly, with the cinematography, it's good. The action sequences are fun. They're well shot and crafted. But it's nothing overly special that you have to see in theaters. For me personally, anyways. Alright, so now I'm going to quickly rewrite this movie to make it 10 times better. And so, Indiana Jones, instead of being a sad, lonely man that's at the end of his career getting retired with no family around to support him, I'm going to change that into him having a fantastic with Miriam. He's got grandkids, he's loved, and he's a legendary man. People look up to him and respect him, and he's enjoying his time just being a grandfather. He's put the adventure behind him, and he's just enjoying the golden years. So that's the first difference. Indiana Jones is having a good life. Now, I don't want to change the plot too much, so his son is not there. He's moved away to another place, but his grandkids are with him. And now, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character shows up and asks him for his help. He reluctantly agrees, so he's going away from his happy family life to help her just find the other half of this dial briefly. And again, I'm going to keep the plot point where he took it from her father and kept it. He gives it to her, but turns out, again, just like in Indiana Jones 5, the Nazis are looking for it, and she, being a bad person, was just trying to trick him so that she could get it and sell it. So that plot point is the same, but she's pulled Indiana Jones away from his good life, and again, she is a bad person. And instead of them going on a boat to find the second half or find something, instead of them going on a boat and diving, I'm going to pull that back and just make the Nazis capture them and make them, no, I'm going to pull that back and make them run and find it, go straight to the cave because they figure out where it is. Let's see. So I'm going to make it so that the Nazis already have the second half, and Indiana Jones and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are now running away from them, and they get captured, and then in the second act, they get captured, taken on a plane through the portal into the past. And now the entire third act of the film is going to be them in the past trying to get back to a portal to get home. And what this allows us to do is to have Indiana Jones and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character and the kid running away from both the Greek army and the Nazis that came back in time. So now we have all of this massive opportunity for lots of double crossing and back and forth. And this is good for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character because now she can actually have an arc where she realizes that she tricked Indiana Jones, she pulled him away from his family, and she feels bad. And the Nazis shoot the kid, and now she desperately needs to get the kid back into the future so that she can give him the proper medicine he needs to save him. And she realizes that the most important thing is family, not money. And Indiana Jones says something to her like, "You've always been family to me," or something like that. And her character actually changes and has a decent arc. And Indiana Jones and her character both kill the Nazis, which is a much more climactic ending. They get back to the portal just in the nick of time, and Indiana Jones has a lot more motivation to get back to his family instead of what we get in the Indiana Jones 5 that we got, where he's just depressed and he wants to stay there. I think that's going to be a much better movie overall. And so that's kind of my feeling on how to rewrite this movie. is you give Phoebe Waller-Bridge a chance, her character a chance to actually, regret the tricking Indiana Jones and pulling him away from his family. Indiana Jones has a good family life, and now he has really strong motivation to get back and kill the Nazis and get back. I think that would have made a much better film. You just change a few of those things, this movie could have been 10 times better. But they didn't do that, and so yeah, my thoughts on Indiana Jones 5. You can see it in theaters if you turn your brain off and just have a good time. But if you're really big Indiana Jones fan and you're expecting something you're like really really great, I'd save your money, watch it on Disney Plus, and just go see Mission Impossible 7 instead next week. Thanks so much for being here. See you later.